First of all, I'd like to introduce my wife, Barb. And my daughter, Tony.
Tony, stand up. Tony, stand up.
That's the first time he's admitted he's had a wife.
And my other daughter, Lori. My son, Drew. My other son, Greg's in Arizona. He couldn't make it. It's my dad, Steve.
Hey, Stevie.
My sister, Pat. And her husband, Dave. My brother, Larry. And Joan. And my grandson, BJ. And his friend, Kelly. My mother-in-law, Marge Hintz. My sister-in-law, Judy. And my other sister-in-law, Debbie. My brother-in-law, Jim. My other brother-in-law, Jim. And I think, is anybody else? No, that's it, girl.
You're
Yes,
milking the hell out of this party, aren't you?
Yep. No, I got Joan. I got everybody. Marge. I said Marge. Yep. It's not Grandma, it's Marge. Tonight. All right.
You got it?
That's it.
You sure you didn't miss anybody?
I hope not. I'll find out.
I know you will. Steve, we've got another friend here for you that you haven't introduced.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you remember the switcher? Yeah.
Out of order. I know that.
Yeah, it is out of order. Yeah, I think it's been out of order a lot. We're going to be using it a little bit tonight. In fact, I'm going to ask you for your help tonight. Sledgehammer? I'm going to ask you to roll tape. I know you know how to do that. You can write some mic levels for me, and I got a CD that you can play if you get really bored.
All right.
Okay? Is there a book? Oh, no, we never have books. There are never any manuals on this stuff. We all know that, right? Oh, those kind of books. Okay. Steve has been with us a long time, and he's learned how to be prepared for just about anything. Being in master control, you need to know a lot of stuff. You got a lot of technology there, a lot of departments that you need to communicate with. You got news and promotions and production, and a few in there that we don't even know who they are. Got to be able to bring in a live shot on a moment's notice sometimes with little or no paperwork. Sometimes you need to roll tape. I know in a couple of cases, especially within the last year or so, had to roll tape without any remote control as we were changing over the equipment. So you have to yell at the guy across the room, roll tape, roll tape. A lot of strange things going on. A piece of equipment might disappear in the middle of your shift. Engineers might decide that, oh, maybe it's a good time to repair this anyway. Sorry, George. Oh, okay. I better be nice. There are a lot of mysteries in master control that creep up now and then because of all the technology that's there. And I admire anybody that works in that environment. So Steve, I want you to be prepared tonight because I'm going to ask you to do some things. The mixer. Channel 1 is this mic. Okay, so you're going to have to write levels on that.
Okay.
Okay, channel 1's right there.
Okay.
Okay, so you can turn me off if you want. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, turn it back up now. Okay. There. Oh, there you go. Okay. Got to ride that level. Oh, a little bit more. There.
Schroeder.
Yeah, Schroeder's done.
Hey, why am I quitting anyway?
When we roll tape, tape's on channel 2. Mic, or input 2. CD's on 3. So when you get really bored, push play, bring up 3, and you're ready to go. Okay? Right. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker tonight.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Take your breath.
This man we all find so funny. very creative, a great producer and a director, and a man that I truly miss working with because I felt like I could have learned so much more from him, Mr. Bill Szymanski.
Good luck, Steve.
You do this at every one.
Hi, little fella. You know, with all your family here, I feel like I'm talking to a bunch of weebles. Well, anyway, it's hard to believe that you're actually retiring. It seems that you've always been here. Most of you probably don't realize, but Steve has been a part of WNDU for a long, long time. A long, long time. The story goes that Steve mysteriously appeared in Master Control one day in the 50s. Immediately after, a power surge from a high-voltage rectifier caused a 7,000-volt arc to leap from a television monitor to a floating ground during the playback of a scene from The Wizard of Oz. That's true. Ask George Molnar. He'll back up the story. The story continues that Steve's first words upon emerging from the pillar of smoke was, "I am a member of the Lollipop Guild." The Lollipop. Well, needless to say, Steve lived at WNDU ever since. So what kind of a guy is Steve Horvath? Well, for one thing, Steve is very humble and very modest. He won't brag about any of his accomplishments. For instance, do you know who directed the very first nationally televised baseball game between the Chicago White Sox and the New York Yankees, and who won the very first Emmy for baseball sports direction?
It wasn't Steve.
Not him. But he won't tell you that. Because that's how modest he is. Also, guess who said, someday you'll find a television set in every household in the USA? Steve's wife, Barb. But again, he won't tell you that because he's so humble. Very modest man. And Steve was always ready to help make his fellow workers look good. There was a time when Steve was directing Romper Room, a little kid show way back then. I was recently hired. I was recently hired and was watching Steve's direction of that show in awe of his masterful handling of the switcher, our two-button switcher, on and off. His technique was something else. He looked at me and said, "Take over." Okay, so I sat in this chair in front of the switcher just as the camera panned to a close-up of this cute little kid who proceeded to throw up his milk and cookies, projectile style. I never did thank you for that, by the way. That was... He also did me in on Animal Day at Romper Room. Mr. Friendly brought 2 ferret-type animals for the children to look at. Steve told me, "Why don't you get a good close-up on those animals? It looks like they're about to do something." I did, just as those 2 dumb ferrets decided to mate. I could hear the viewers at home falling to the floor and collapsing. The parents and children were screaming in the studio. Baz O'Hagan, the first time I saw him cry. Steve, of course, was in the corner going, hee 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 hee. But that was Steve, doing what he could to make his coworkers look good. And then there was Steve's temperament. He was always cool. If things got too far out of hand, he would solve the problem quickly. Like the time we were finishing televising a football game and we were rolling up the camera cables for storage. In those days, the camera cables were very thick and heavy and had to be coiled in a figure 8 so they wouldn't kink. Steve remembers the kink episode.
I remember.
Well, as we were coiling and loading these cables onto a semi-truck, the driver of the truck, a guy about the size of King Kong and just as ugly, was supervising our work and decided to hassle Steve. He walked up to Steve and said, "Don't kink the cable." Steve nodded and kept working. A few minutes later, the guy came back and reminded Steve, "Hey, don't kink the cable." Steve gave him his famous number 3 look. Okay, a few minutes later, he came back again and said, "Can't you go faster?" Steve's look went to stage 8. Okay, a few minutes later, the guy walks up and says, "I think you kinked the cable." That's when Steve decided to take a different approach. Steve looked up at this towering monster, smiled, and said, "I didn't think you know." To which this guy takes this power stance, walks up to Steve and says, "Kung Fu." Steve reaches in his pocket and says, "Monkey wrench." That took care of that problem. Steve was also extremely considerate. There was a time we were getting ready to leave work for the day when a huge thunderstorm developed. Rain was coming down in sheets. Steve, Mark Heller, Everett Gould, and myself knew we would get soaked to the skin going for our cars. Yeah. Our cars were in the parking lot about 5 blocks away, and this rain is coming down. We were ready to make a run for it because we'd stay there for about a half hour for the rain to stop, and it didn't. So we were ready to run for it, and all of a sudden, Barb comes driving up in Steve's new car, right in front of the door. Steve runs to the car and hops in, but Steve, being a considerate guy, opened the door up, knowing that the car would get wet inside, smiled and waved to us, shut the door, and drove that stupid car off. Mark and I and Everett were standing there going, "Happy." But that's Steve, nice and considerate. Yeah, Steve, your retirement has everyone feeling saddened. We all thought you were going to be here forever, but every good thing must come to an end. And in honor of your departure, we've got some small gifts for you, which I am honored to present to you.
Uh-oh. Oh, God, here we go.
One of them a bill for your hernia?
What? Okay, first of all, from Paul Walton, a lock of his hair. Now hang on to it because he may need it in a couple of years. From George Molnar, a videotape of all your football shows, a compilation of all the great shows you put together.
Here, there it comes, too.
Unfortunately, it was run over by a semi-truck driver hauling some kinked cable. He said he knows you and your monkey wrench.
I smell.
From Greg Gitzy, a bottle of the finest French cognac he could find.
Thanks, Greg.
He hopes you spend many days sipping it. And by the way, United Airlines says thank you also. From Dick Addis. His makeup kit. From Nancy Van.
Uh-oh.
The thumb screws she used in her very first job at the Tower of London. From Patty Martin. A membership card to the Little Friends of the Munchkins organization. Oh, hey, this is going to be good. Next month, their guest inductee will be Ginny McGann. From Mel Desilac, the remains of the mouse that knocked out our transmitter a few years ago.
Don't open it.
And let's see, from, Jim Bailey. A notification of the $1,500 a week raise you would have gotten had you not retired. Don't need that. From Mark Heller, an all-expense paid trip to spend 4 days with him in a stuck elevator. You can make arrangements with him for that later on. From Donna Waller, a list of the dates of all the times you upcut her show, things to come. And from, Michiana Telecasting, your first monthly cash installment from your pension fund.
Here we go.
It helps with Social Security. From the Master Control staff, a bill for $9,000 for kinking the cable on your switcher the last day of your job. Here's the cable, maybe you could fix it later on. Oh, from Jerry Faust, his new book entitled My Best Coached Games at Notre Dame and the Secrets of Winning Big. Oh, it's not here. Bob Davies borrowed it. And, And the last gift is from me, something I found in the building archives when I was retiring. I was cleaning up and all of that. Monkey wrench.
Thanks, Doug.
Nothing from me, Bill? Maybe I shouldn't ask. Steve, this morning Debbie Christie came to me, and I was a little worried.
Forgot to fill out log.
Yeah, he forgot to fill out a log. So page 24? 25. So, just for the record, I need to know when these aired.
Okay.
It was a 30-second spot for Rentway.
For Rentway?
For Rentway.
Jim won that run. Did. Make good.
Make good?
Let's see it.
I don't think so. Jim? And I got a Big Lots, fourth quarter. I got Warner Lambert. I got R.K. Mueller, and a station ID. You got any idea when those aired?
What show?
What show? Regis and Kathy Lee. Terminal break.
What day?
What day? This was his last day. 9 to 10 a.m. I don't know what to do here. You didn't do your job.
No. I think Tim was switching that break.
I don't think so.
That's your limitation, Steve.
Well, maybe I'll let you off the hook. I passed this log around and had a number of good friends and employees sign this and put their wishes on it. And of those that may have missed it, I hope you have a chance to give your wishes before you leave today. It's pretty neat. A lot of heartfelt wishes in there.
Oh, yeah.
And so if anyone has time to read those too. they're pretty neat. On a similar note, I've got some more wishes on tape. And so, Steve, you know what that means.
I got to roll it.
You got to roll
right?
tape. Okay. Pot two. Pot two is up.
Yep, it's up.
It's up. Okay.
Well,
Hit
let's
play.
see.
He forgot all this.
No.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, Steve, listen, you know, you're the only guy that understands it because I know you're a true Packer fan. I was just kind of dusting this off a little bit because the Packers are kind of struggling right now, but I know that you value the Packers, you know, and that's why we're good friends. And boy, I hope we can put another date on this Super Bowl championship, but I don't know, it might be a while. But listen, anyway, I got to tell you, you know, I know you're retiring and all that, and my goal in life really is to look as good as you are. The other thing is, because you're my racquetball buddy, take it easy with me. You know, it's kind of embarrassing when you beat me in racquetball at your age. You know what I mean? I kind of take pride in my athletic ability, and you know, don't be telling people you beat me in the game. Okay, just kind of between you and me. Is that okay? But listen, I have to tell you something. Beyond our friendship, you are a tremendous contribution to this television station, and your dedication and your real energy that you have brought, and enthusiasm and laughs, but most importantly, your dedication is something that I really admire. So I wish you the best of luck in your retirement, and I'm going to keep practicing so I can beat you in racquetball too, Steve. Take care.
Guess who's doing the Notre Dame football highlights video for the third year in a row? That would be me. Over here?
Low lights?
No, not low, high. You're supposed to show. You know what would be really fun? Is to cut one that shows all the good stuff, you know, the Notre Dame good stuff, and then switch it at the banquet, and then show all the other teams' good plays, and see if there was like any surprises on anyone's faces. Who's this for?
Stevie Horvath.
Oh, Stevie. Because of the Hungarian madman. Stevie, you snore. And you still snore. Hi, Stevie. Stevie, look. It's Notre Dame. Football. They didn't win this one either.
Stevie, well, we do it like this.
Yeah.
Smooches, bye. Wave or something?
Sure.
Okay. Ready? Where are we looking?
Right there. Right there at the camera lens. Bye, Steve.
Happy retirement.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Bye, mini marshmallows.
Good luck, Steve. We wish you the best.
We're going to miss you, Stevie.
Steve Horvath and I have something in common that affected both of our lives. It was Bill Garden's retirement in 1972. Because when Bill retired, Steve became the director of our away Notre Dame games, actually our home Notre Dame games too, before NBC got involved. And because Bill retired, I got a outside sales, local salesperson's job. And so we both benefited greatly from Bill Garden's retirement. I don't know who benefited more, actually. Trick question.
Yeah, hi, Steve. Wish I could join you. You don't know how much I do. But they asked me to say something, my little reminisce thing, and I was trying to remember. Do you remember who was the kid who, back in the projection in the old building, was wondering, I think he asked you, what they were always talking about when they said change Killarney. What was change Killarney? I can't think of his name, and I remember we got such a kick out of that. Yeah, and the old 2x10 switcher. Man, oh man. Did a lot of stuff on that. I was just talking to somebody the other day about the mass. Remember the mass back then? We did the hour one, and then for 3 months it was the same mass, except that old retired Army chaplain priest would come in, and half the time he was so crocked that he couldn't stand up straight. And the time he knocked, the whole mass set over. I loved it. And he turns around from the lectern and he says, "Whoa, I didn't think it'd be that effective." Wow, that one got me. Ah, jeez. Remember the time when we were doing Wolfie's cartoon, what was it, Cartoon Carnival? And the big trash can, and he'd always pull that lid up, and the time we had the Playboy centerfold. Oh, man, those are the days, weren't they? Yeah, I can't do that anymore. Those are the days when we had fun. Doing, what was the kids' show in the afternoon? Remember, every afternoon we had to put up the set for, oh gosh, I can't even think of the name of it now. It was really popular show. Miss Susie. So we had a lot of things we did, you know, and I'm going to miss every one of them, and I'm going to miss you because you're all part of that and part of my memories, and I hope I'm part of yours. So I want to wish you some real good luck in your retirement, and keep me in your thoughts, will you? I want to be behind you as soon as I can. Take care.
Now get back to work. Hey, Steve, we're going to miss you, but if you get really, really bored, you know, I got some babysitting jobs you can sign up for. See ya. Go, Deb. You're next.
I done it.
Look, we're having a cranky moment right now.
Cranky moment? It's time to get happy, we're saying.
Hey! Steve.
This is what you guys do? You guys actually get paid for doing this stuff?
Only the big bucks.
Steve. We're gonna miss you, Steve. You gonna miss him, Jim?
Yes, I am.
How about you, Sherry?
Oh, sure.
Yes,
Yeah, Patty. You
Nothing like the old softball days, Steve. Good luck.
Love you, Steve.
And Jim, any final thoughts?
Yeah, don't you guys have something more important to do?
Stevie, can't believe you're leaving us already. I just hope I'm in your kind of shape when I'm that age. Hell, I wish I was in your kind of shape right now. I remember the old days when I was red hat man supporting football in the hand of buying days. There's some interesting times there. Great working with you, and enjoy your retirement.
Stevie, remember you used to take me home when I was 16 years old. Boy, were you happy. Had a lot of fun working with you, a lot of great times on the road when you and I and Tony and Dick would travel to different parts of the country, especially Colorado. I can't believe you're leaving either. You and Joe both going at the same time really makes us feel like we are the old people. So it's been great working with you. You'll always be my friend. Thanks.
Steve, it's been nice working with you. I hope to see you more often on the racquetball court. I know you can't use time as an excuse anymore. So congratulations on all your years, and I hope you have fun hope you have fun with whatever you do. Thanks. Bye-bye.
We will miss you. Thank you for all your work. Goodbye.
Steve, I never know what to say. I always bumble on these reports, but I'm really going to miss you in master control and your bright and cheerful face early in the morning. You're always much too happy at that time of day. And I know you're going to really enjoy your retirement, but you're still going to keep getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Good luck to you, and we'll still see you around at football and elsewhere on campus.
Yeah, Steve, best of luck in your retirement, the best of everything. It's a pleasure working with you. Hope you have a long, happy retirement.
Well, Steve, we'll continue to do our best to hold up to your high standards of video switching, and try not to let your grass get too long. I know how much you enjoy mowing. If you need more grass to mow, feel free to contact me. I have lots of grass.
Jim, what do you think I should say, Jim?
Don't come up with one of your stupid limericks.
Yeah. Guess I got nothing else to say. Everything I say rhymes. Well, goodbye, Steve. And gosh, I hope you enjoy watching Notre Dame football next year. I hope I enjoy watching Notre Dame football next year, but I doubt it. Anyway, have fun in your retirement, and I'll stop by the hardware store. See ya.
Steve, how are you? So glad to... No, I'm not glad. I mean, have a good time in retirement, and we're going to miss you a lot, and take care.
Say goodbye.
Catch me later.
Going for spontaneity, you know.
Yeah.
Don't forget, man, we're going to get them on the run. We're going to go, and we on to the stop until we go that goal line. Don't forget, man, the day is the day. We're going to win. They can't lick it, and the left out of the goal. The first whistle of the man wins there. Fight. What do you say, man?
I don't know how many people realize this, but this is also Steve's birthday.
One other thing here, Jim. Kathleen Denham is also having a birthday today, and so does Joe Haas. So happy birthday, you guys.
There are certain things that thoroughly amazes me that we have a person who's been with the same company for 42 years that says either a lot about the company or Steve's a real glutton for punishment. But there are certain things that I know that Steve is not going to miss while he is leaving us. He will not miss getting up before 4 o'clock every morning. He will not miss frozen dinners or fast food every day. He will not miss the Trish and Gordy comedy hour every morning. He will not miss hearing Don Rose say the same 4-letter word about 20 times every morning. He will not miss Storm Team. He will not miss weather crawls and school closings. He will not miss the ACR. He will not miss Regis and Kathy Lee. He will not miss waking Timmy up from his morning nap every day. He will not miss the ever-fluctuating temperatures in master control. He will not miss log changes in the middle of station breaks. He will not miss the discrepancy sheets. And did I mention that he will not miss Storm Team? Yes, that's true. That's definitely true. I remember a time a few years ago when we had lost power in the building, and one morning we were without power for like about 3 hours. And for those of you that have been in a master control area when you don't have power, it's sort of like a Chinese fire drill. You have a bunch of people running all around everywhere just trying to get something on the air. And we managed to make it through these 3 hours without losing one spot. And it was something that I know that Steve really never ever got recognized for, but it was a huge accomplishment, and it was really nice. There are certain things about Steve that I will always miss. He was always there every morning, 5 a.m. There were times I know when he worked basketball games when he didn't get home until after midnight, but he was still there, 5 a.m. There were times when he would be out because he would work for 10 hours in master control, go over and shoot football and outside in sometimes really awful weather, go home at night, eat, and get up the next morning and still be there at 5 a.m. I'm going to really miss hearing all of his stories about his grandkids. Steve takes an awful lot of pride in those kids, and it's gotten so I really seem that I really know him because of all the stories he tells about his grandsons and their soccer and football and falling and doing all the other kinds of things, and I really miss that. I also miss finding out what it is that's always happened with the Notre Dame football team. There are stories that I'm sure you wouldn't believe when it comes to Notre Dame football, but it's been very, very nice knowing you, Steve, and you have a great time.
Let's see.
How you doing, Steve?
I'm fine.
I'd like to have you step up to the mic and say a few words to the people here that are showing their appreciation and their love for you.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody that came tonight, especially the old-timers. I look around the building, or this nice environment, we see Tom Denon, Dick Addis, all the old Harry, and the newest old-timer, Joe Dundon, Denny Laughlin, Bill Szyminski, Paul Walton. And I'd just like to thank these people for coming. You know, it's been a lot for me. And I would like to thank maybe every department that I work with, starting with the old mass control people that I work with, like Jim, Walt, Jim, Timmy, Doug, Becky Lee. Who am I missing here? Matt, and Jim Seam, and probably one of the nicest people we ever want to met is Ronnie Denon. She's no longer with us, but we miss her. I'd also like to thank all the people in production, Dave Linarello, Bill, Bob, Jono, Randy. Who I'm missing there? That's about it, isn't it? Oh, Sue. Also missed an old timer too. Chuck has been around my life so long that I just consider him part of me, you know? he's not an old timer, but thanks, guys. And to the production department, Mick Wright, Joe Haas, Garrett, Dawn. I mean, who else we got here? Mark. I'd like to thank, where's Alex? Alex here? Or did he leave? Alex, thank you very much for coming. Kevin Goddard, it's nice meeting you, nice working with you. The news department, the old timers, and we also have Mike Collins. Did Mike leave? Mike? It's nice to work with the old two guys that we used to have a lot of good time together. Engineering, got George Molnar, Mel, Jim Schroeder, Travis. Most of these people you know, Lou Ray, Brian, I don't know Brian's last name. Hembaugh, and Rudy. Oh, where's Rudy when we need him? Oh, he's probably sleeping or eating. And I'd like to thank the girls up in accounting, Debbie, Rhonda, and who's Lori, the new girl? And who else we have here? And I also like to thank Nancy Van in Human Resources, and the person that's really helped me out in the last couple weeks, Anita Raines. Thank you very much, Anita. She's helped me sign all this paper so I can get the big bucks now. I'd like to thank... Oh, that was my contract. That's why I'm quitting. They want me to quit so I can get more money. But Pat, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, buddy. You know, and I'd like to thank Ron back in promotion, along with Melanie and Lou Pierce back in sales. Also, Mike Lays. Thanks a lot, Mike. We had some good times playing ball. Yeah, you betcha. Back in news, we have Tim Andrews, Kevin, the old timer, Rob Jones. He's come back. It's nice of you to come back, Rob, for this. I'm looking at now here. Who else do we have? And I'd like Greg Gitsy. We've been a long time together. Carl. And I tell you what, my two best buddies in the whole world, Mike Doyle, Dick Nemeth. And that's about all I can say. It's been... Lenny, I'm sorry, Lenny. I thought you were going to write me a poem. And Sherry. Sherry's an old timer. We're going to Tahiti, aren't we? Don't tell anybody. You tell it, Pat. You guys tell stories. Because, I mean, you've been around. With me. Come on, Pat. I would just along for the ride, Pat.
I would, but I don't think Kathleen would like it.
Touche. You're quick on your feet.
I think Kathleen and I want to know about it.
I think Dick would have to tell a story.
I think Dick would too.
I was back at the room. Ray Jackson.
You were getting saved, weren't you, Dick?
What passage did you read?
John 7, 8.
Now, come on, Pat, tell that good story.
I guess it's, it's a little embarrassing.
It is, I guess. I had my wife's picture in my pocket, so I didn't do anything. Or did I take it out? I forgot. Oh, we had some good times. Very good times at the old building. I mean, if people would know the things that we did at that old building.
Things that old building did to us.
Yeah. I remember one time when Paul Walton and Kathleen had to cook for Kroger's. You guys remember that? The old timers remember? We used to have those live spots for Kroger's. One time, Kathleen made a 10-pound roast. It was beautiful. After we got done with the commercial, I think we ate all of it. And Paul was going to take it home. You remember that, Paul? Bill, you remember that?
Melvin and his hamburger meatloaf.
Oh.
Remember when you locked Frank Drury out so he couldn't do the update?
Oh, yeah.
Remember the Alley's commercial on Pat Fitzgerald?
Oh, I can tell you that, but I mean, I think I will tell it because this is. I was 19 years old. I was 19 years old, just a fresh cameraman. And back then you had to be there for about a year before you could run camera on any show because it was the old-fashioned dolly turret lenses, and you had to move and. Right. I mean, so this is a commercial we're doing. It's front of a rear screen projector where we project the image of the thing that we want to see. In fact, this was a drugstore counter. At this time, the talent's name was Pat Fitzgerald, and I was on camera. And I'm just 19 years old, just new there, and they had it jeeped into the monitors, where this was Tonight Show, where everything was done live back then, no tape. So we had it jeeped into the monitors, and I'm on a headset because you never know when the commercial's going to come. You have to be ready at all times. So the product we're pushing tonight is L-Ace. It's a laxative. So we get going, and then the director and back to his Bill King. Some of you guys remember Bill King. He says, stand by, I'm ready. So we're ready to come up on it. So we come up on it, he gives me the cue, I give Pat the cue. He starts reading the commercial. It's a 2-minute spot, so we're reading along. All of a sudden, Frank Drayton comes behind the thing, and he makes a big noise like somebody breaking wind. He comes up and he leans up on the old counter, and he says, Pat, tell him how it makes you shit. I was so scared. I was so scared I grabbed that turret, I went to black. I said, oh God, I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm over, I just started, so we were in black, and then all of a sudden the guys were saying, open up, and I knew it was just a joke. But old Pat Fitzgerald, he just keeps on going. He tries to kick old Frank out of there, And some of the things we've done.
I've never seen anybody get out of the station as Drayton did that night.
Oh God, I tell you. I could tell one on you too, Charlie. And I think I will, because this is just.
Things are warming up.
Oh yeah, this is the one that Charlie. This is Frank Drayton was our weather guy at the time, and we did some things back then that we wouldn't be working there anymore. So we had, of course, we had the romper room, and we had Play-Doh, right? So we had an old enema bag. We
don't talk about the talent that way.
We had the old enema bag. We filled it with water. Frank was doing it. We made a or a male member out of that thing. And Charlie, it was you, because I was on camera. He puts a pail down like this. Frank's doing the weather, and he can see Chuck off the side. What's he doing? So he goes up, he puts the thing down there, and he starts squeezing that thing, like going to that bucket. I'm telling you, remember that, Charlie? Oh, that's one thing I'll never forget.
Funny, I don't remember. If you're telling stories, tell them about the one with Dick Addis and the weather when I was doing news. How's your Dick weather?
Remember when Tom Ballinger used to put your telephone number up there?
Oh, yeah. Gilroy did that. He didn't do that.
Yeah, I tell you, we had some good times.
Were you directing when the snakes got loose?
Yes, yes. That's when Dan Dabrowski was on camera. And we had we had a live spitting cobra that we were doing a show. We were doing a show of this, and the live spitting cobra, the guy, professor at Notre Dame, was explaining something about it. But anyway, it got loose behind the old building. Dan Dabrowski was on camera. He took off his headsets and he got out of there, man. That was it.
John McCullough.
Yeah, John. Oh, I could tell you a story about that, too. Remember John and Dan Martin?
Dan Martin?
One day, Dan...
You and Dan Martin.
Yeah, how about
Oh, yeah.
when you broke your hand?
Oh, I'm going to tell that. Dan Martin was an old ex-Marine guy, that real tough guy. John McCullough, our ex-news anchor. Yeah, he was the anchor, yeah. He used to, well, we were, I don't know what we were doing. But anyway, John and Dan come into the building, and they had a couple little drinks maybe, and we'd come back, and they were a little tipsy or something like that. And back then, I said, John says to me, he says, hey, go ahead and hit him as hard as you want. Dan says, yeah, go ahead, hit me as hard as you want. And I said, nah, come on, do it. So I hauls off and hits him, and as soon as I hit him, I knew something was wrong. I had broke my hand. So that's when I was working nights, and it just started to swell up, you know, and so I ran camera. I knew that I mean, we had a show to do, so I ran camera. And ran down to the emergency room, they x-rayed it, and they wanted to set it, and at that time, I wanted Dr. Bodner, but he was out of town. And we had, what was the girl's name? Her husband was the orthopedic guy. I know he had a wooden leg, because the nurses told me when his leg was hurting him, he was a bitch. Dr. Friedman, yeah.
An orthopedic guy with a wooden leg.
So the next day I go in and he sets my hand, and it was. But I saw Dan a couple of days. He said, "Hey, look what you did in my arm." You know, it was all black and blue. I said, "Look what you did in my hand." Oh, there's times, Pat. Remember? We can tell it now because I'm gone.
I haven't left yet, so I'm not going to tell you.
Well, you were just a...
Tell them about when we cut the show off.
Oh, God, yes.
For what?
Oh, yeah.
Is this the one I'm thinking of?
No, this was back when Pat was on switchboard. I'm standing next to Bill King, who's directing. We're having a show on, it's called Frigidity.
Frigidity, I'm sorry. Right.
Frigidity. Remember that? Oh, I'm standing there, all of a sudden we get a phone call. And Mr. Hamilton at that time was the GM. He says, get that show off the air. And poor Bill didn't know, get that show off the air. You know, because he was with some priests and they didn't like it, I think. So he says, grab the first thing you can find. Remember that, Mike? You remember. So we go back in the film room, and there's a film up there that says scratched. Well, hell, we thought it was scratched. First thing we do, we see a woman's breast.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we get that off the air. Huh? Oh yes. Then he says, get that off the air. So we got the Darlington 500. Hell, we can't go wrong with the Darlington 500. That's a race, you know. First 5 minutes where it's beauty shots, girls walking up the stairs. It kept getting worse and worse, man. Poor Pat was on switchboard. He had so many calls that he had to patch everybody to help him out, answer these calls. Management deems this show not, whatever it was. Remember, Pat? Oh, God.
Go back to the rest shot.
Oh, man. And we got written up in Playboy magazine. Yeah. Yeah. So what's some of the other things that we've done, Pat?
How about the night that Divine came into the studio?
Oh, well, that's...
Set me up with that, ask this question.
But that was you, so maybe you can tell. No.
No, Chris.
No, I want Tom to tell this one. You guys remember Dan Devine? No, we got it. Go ahead, Tom.
Well, the reason I thought of it is because Steve is so involved in this. Divine, we got to the point with Divine's show that it wasn't even sold. We had to put spots in it, and we'd tape it on Sunday night. And it was 7 o'clock, and if Dan got there by 8 or 8:30, we figured he was way ahead of time. But he came in this one night, and it was after the regular season, and the team had just voted on whether they were going to go to a bowl or not. So Dan gets me way over in the corner of the studio, and he takes an envelope out of his coat pocket and writes something on the back of the envelope and says to me, "You asked this question sometime during the show."
That's short.
So I looked at it, and I figured, well, I've known Dan long enough. I better ask this question verbatim, or I'll get myself in trouble. So we're a few minutes into the show, and Steve is upstairs. Steve is upstairs directing, and we're both damn tired of sitting around all Sunday night waiting for Dan to come in.
That's all right. Go ahead, Tom.
But I see that that Dan's on camera, so I take the envelope and I lay it across my thigh, and I ask him the question, just as he had it written. And he turns and he looks at me and he says, "I can't answer a question like that. Why are you asking me a question like that? You have to go to Father Joyce to get an answer to that question." Well, of course, Steve heard it up. I went nuts. He went nuts at the same time. The two of us are down in the studio. We must have taped that show 3 or 4 times that night before we got it right. Yeah.
Yeah, he forgot to tell you.
Oh, the question was, it was just simply ask me about the bowl.
The bowl game.
How the team voted on the bowl bid.
Yep.
And I asked him.
Yep. That's all right. We're going to wrap it up anyway. We don't want to get these people in trouble. They got to work the rest of their lives.
Some of us have to drink,
On to.
Okay. No, that's all right. Go ahead. Yeah, you can wrap it up anyway. You don't have to.
Yeah. The one microphone cable that I don't bring that's from the house doesn't work. Well, I need to begin wrapping things up here a little bit. I'd like to have Greg Gitze step up here for some closing remarks.
Boy, Steve, I've known Steve for 35 years when I started at WNDU in 1965, and boy, I know there's some stories there, and people I won't mention that those would be some good ones too. And I was there for the snake thing. I was outside. I remember that thing getting away. That was pretty scary. And I'm just laughing at all these stories, and I'm kind of also reflecting about what the business is like today, and it's just changed so much, and it's not as much fun anymore, unfortunately. And where there were just those crazy things that happened, and nowadays it's just so tight and precise and everything. But boy, to look back on those days was wonderful. And Steve's whole career, you have to think, he's talking about running black and white cameras with turret lenses, and he's gotten through to the age of high definition, and that's quite a career span, going through color television and now high definition, so it's pretty special. Well, I guess at a retirement party you could say that someone is signing off, especially in this business, but for Steve, as I thought about it, he never worked that shift. He was always on the early shift, and so most appropriate for Steve, he's really signing on with a new career as he goes on into his retirement. And I envy him. He's going out in great health, and he looks terrific and full of energy and lots of life yet, and boy, that's the way to go, just like Joe Dundon did. So good luck to you, Steve. And you know, I know you're not going to a bowl game this year. I know that's really bums you out. Well,
the only bowl I'm going to see is a toilet bowl.
Well, I know your league at the Parkway was a little disrupted the other night, wasn't it? Drive-in bowling alley. That was pretty good. Anyway, the company has a little something for you. If you like beaches, this will get you to a warm beach this winter, and that is with 21 days advance notice, and you know, getting a good fare. But it'll get you there. It'll get you there. So, on behalf of all of us at this company, Steve,
thank
you very much. You know, and Steve is one of 4 Hungarians that work at WNDU TV, and so the other 3 of us, Nemeth, Molnar, and Gitze, will really miss him. So good luck, Steve.
Thanks, Greg.
Steve, I lucked out. We didn't have to play the CD.
All right.
We did pretty well. Hey, I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. We had a great time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks.
Happy birthday, too, Steve.
Thanks, there, Greg.
We have some birthday
Here's
cake
the
for you over here.
next week is yours, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Jim, thanks. Nice work on it already.
Take care. Listen, anything you need, you just give me a call, okay?
Already?
While you're shaking hands, I'm going to go get another drink.
Paul, thank you very much for coming.
Take care.
All right. I will.
Keep in touch.
I will. Thanks, Willem.
What a wonderful evening for you. You know, so many wonderful.
We'll be around. We'll see you.
I know it. I know it. I miss those games. I miss those bowl games.
Yeah.
You and Timmy showed me the ropes down there on a few of them. What, Chris, that's so sad about Chris.
Yeah, we don't know anything about it.
I know. I guess it's all hush hush.
Yep.
So,
Timmy, we'll see you around.
20 years of action.
Yeah, you've been here 20 years, right?
I will have worked there in December 12th for 20 years.
Good for you.
Well, is that right? Beats not working, but
yeah, I know.
Sure, someday I'll grow up and get a real job.
Yeah, that's the way I felt too.
Your stuff is good. You have good material in it.
It was
very good.
Well, some of it. I mean, there's stuff that we.
Well, I know you don't want to work too blue with these things.
Yeah.
The story I was hoping you were going to tell was the one about playing darts in the studio and sticking that dart in Tom Stein's leg.
Oh, yeah.
You can't keep getting away from the microphone. See you, little fellow.
Okay, thanks a lot, Bill.
Have a good retirement. I know you're going to like it.
Okay.
Yeah. Be good.
See ya.
All right, Alice. You want to throw that stuff back in there, Bill?
No, that's yours. I got to take that Bye, Bill.
Hey, Rob. Hey, if you ever need anything on grips or anything like that, I'm free anymore.
Okay, great.
Okay, so
all right.
give me a call. I'll be glad to help you out some way.
All right, do you have I need your phone number. Do you have a card at all?
It's I'm on Greenacre.
Okay.
272-4167,
okay,
but I'm on Green.
Yeah,
Steve A.
Do you have? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carl.
I'm looking for the log. Do you have it?
Sign it. Well, it's lucky we had a job.
Yeah.
That's how much.
Okay. On the other side here.
But it was different back then. You know, I always told everybody, when I quit having fun, I'm going to be gone out of WNDU. It only took me a year after I quit having fun to be out of there.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, and happy birthday.
You bet.
Tony.
Hi, Dennis. Nice seeing you.
Steve, leave it on for a second. Kind of leave it right there.
Oh, you want me to carry it
I
around?
just want you to keep it on for a while.
Oh, okay.
I'm not done yet.
Yes, sir.
See you, Tom. Nice to see you again. He got me started in this stuff.
Okay, Merry Christmas to you, John.
You too. Fault.
Hey, Steve, I'll take it off.
Okay, Dave.
I'll call you about racquetball.
You betcha.
Okay? Thanks a lot. Good job.
You're not going to say see us, son, are you?
No. That was me.